Hello everyone, this is Shardul Gavande, Assistant Professor from University of Mumbai, IDIL. So today in this video, we are going to learn Introduction to C++ Programming. So before starting, let us first understand what exactly is a programming language. Or what exactly is a program. So a program is nothing but a set of instructions which the computer needs to follow in order to execute its task. Let's suppose we take an example as you want to take admission for FY course at IDIL. So you need to follow some sort of instructions in order to complete with the admission process. So you need to fill your admission form by entering the academic details, your personal details. Then you need to select the course for which you are applying. Then you also need to apply for your scanned image and signature, and that too in appropriate size format. And then you're done with the admission process. Yes. So there are some sort of small programs which you need to follow, and then your admission process has been completed. So let us first understand the two types of programming language which we have. So we have low-level programming language and high-level programming language. So let us understand that. So at the very base, we have our hardware. Okay. So this hardware is nothing but our computer system. Okay. We have our CPU, registers, all those things would come under this hardware part. I'm showing you the hierarchy structure or architecture, you can say. Above the hardware, we have our machine language. Okay. So what exactly is a machine language? The name itself says machine language, which means something which machines would understand. So machines do not understand English language. They understand their own machine language, which is nothing but ones and zeros. Okay, which is also called as binary language. So this is what is my machine language. And above machine or after machine, we have our low level language, which is nothing but our assembly language. Okay. So this assembly language is our low level language. Now what do I mean by low level language? Means it works on operation codes. So there are many operation codes given in order to understand a computer what it should perform. So assembly language is basically used with the internal components of a computer. So for example, we have our CPU, central processing unit. So CPU has inside it as registers, ALU, arithmetic logic unit, then it has control units and many other things. So CPU needs to communicate with the memory, for example RAM. It needs to read some data from RAM as well as write some data to the RAM. So how it is done? With the help of this assembly language. So let us see some instructions of this assembly language. So we have MOV, then we have A11 or A11 you can say. Then we have 061H. So this is a simple example of assembly language. So move is nothing but my operation code. Okay, as I said, assembly is a low level language, and low level means it works on some sort of operation codes. So move is my operation code. Then 061H, this is my hexadecimal code. Okay, 61, and this A11 is nothing but my register name with A11. Okay, so the code says that move your hexadecimal number 61 to register with name as A11. Okay, so that's how this operation has been performed. But hold on, this is a low level language, right? And the question comes here as in how machine would understand this low level language. It understands only machine language. So there must be some component or a person who needs to convert or translate this assembly low level language into a machine language. Yes. So we have a component over here called as assembler. Okay. So assembler in assembly language is used to convert your low level language into machine level language so that your computer could understand this line or this instruction and execute it accordingly. Is it clear? Okay, so let's put this assembly language in our list. So very first we have assembly language. Okay, so this was found in the late 1949. So after assembly language, there came a new language called as BCPL. So BCPL stands for Basic Combined Programming Language. So this was a programming language which was used to create compilers. So now what exactly is a compiler? So we talked about low level language, right? And there was one more which was high level programming language. So compiler is used to convert high level programming language to a low level programming language, right? So we were having here assembler which was used to convert low level programming language to machine language, and BCPL is used to create, or you can simply say develop, compiler. So compiler converts high level programming language to low level, and from there we have assembler which takes that low level programming language given by compiler and converts it to machine language. Okay. After BCPL, so because there were some problems with BCPL, then Dennis Ritchie in the year 1972 came up with language called as C programming language. So C here you can see C stands for, you can say C stands for control, because in C programming language we have one method called as main method in which the entire control is there of the overall program. So main method is the method which gets executed for the very first time when you execute a C program. Okay, so C programming was built basically to develop operating systems like Unix and Linux operating system. Apart from that, it was also used to develop firmware applications or embedded applications. Example, I would say we all know pen drive. Yes, so when you connect a pen drive to a computer system, you get a window open which where we can navigate your files and cut, copy, paste, right? So the communication between your pen drive and your computer device is coded with the help of C programming language. Also your refrigerator, your air conditions, all this are programmed using C programming language. So later on, in the year 1985, Jarne Strostrup came up with a new language, or you can simply say extended version of C program called as C++. So it was called as C with classes, and later on it was given name as C++. So if you carefully observe now, from numbers 1 to 4, we have first assembly language. So if I take the first alphabet A, then we have BCPL language, which I take the first alphabet as B, then I take C. So if you observe, it is in alphabetical order, A, B, C, and then C++, so on. So that's how the languages were derived. Okay, so talking about C++, C++ is purely object-oriented programming language. Now what do I mean by object-oriented programming language? It consists of classes and objects. Okay, so there are many concepts relating to object-oriented like inheritance, encapsulation, and so on, which we will learn in the further subsequent videos. Okay, so C++ is an object-oriented programming language, and it was basically built to develop game engines. So you know the famous game Counter-Strike, PUBG, these are all developed using C++ programming language, and the base is obviously C programming language, because it's C++ is an extended version of C programming language. Okay, also we can say that C++ is a middle level programming language. Why middle level programming language? Because it acts as a low level programming language as well as a high level programming language. So how does it act as a low level programming language? It deals with the memory management part. Low level means relating to the hardware. So it deals with the memory management part of computer. And high level programming language. High level programming language means human readable programming language. So when developers code their program, they use high level programming language, which is human readable. Okay, and they do not need to understand the machine language, right? So using high level, C++ also uses high level programming language, which means it uses the predefined library functions which are there, and that's why we call C++ as a middle level programming language, because it acts both as a low level as well as a high level programming language. So that's all regarding C++ program, introduction to C++ programming language.